As people acquire more wealth, a strange thing happens. Their day-to-day financial anxiety seems to quietly vanish, falling away. The average earner often spends their life white-knuckling through the month. They lose sleep over sudden market crashes, scramble to eliminate every last cent of debt, and refresh their credit scores with the same urgency as a social media feed. Most people assume this state of panic is a permanent condition, something that only disappears once an account balance hits a specific seven-figure threshold. However, looking at the habits of the wealthy suggests a different path. Reaching a high net worth often coincides with a systematic unlearning of the psychological habits that keep most people stuck. True financial freedom is a process of subtraction. It requires dropping arbitrary societal rules, and you can put those weights down today, regardless of what your bank balance says. One of the heaviest weights is lifestyle inflation. When income rises, the immediate instinct is to lease a nicer car, letting spending climb right alongside earnings. This Experian chart shows 61% of high-income earners skip luxury car brands entirely. A study of millionaires found they most frequently buy used Toyotas, Hondas, and Fords, allocating a mere 1% of their net worth to their vehicle. A luxury badge exists primarily to prove affordability to strangers. Once that affordability is a reality, the urge to prove it to the world often disappears. Stepping away from that need to impress others is a critical early step toward financial peace. Opting for reliable transportation instead of a status symbol saves hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Fighting internal emotions is often harder than resisting social pressure. Throwing every spare dollar at a mortgage to be debt-free feels amazing, but feeling good and building wealth are rarely the same thing. Currently, over 51.5% of all American mortgages are locked in at rates of 4% or lower. This graph maps two strategies, paying off a 3% mortgage versus investing for an 8% market return. Paying off cheap debt costs you that gap. Conversely, a 20% credit card is a violent compounding emergency to kill immediately. But once the high-interest debt is gone, the financially free view a cheap mortgage as a mechanical tool. It lets their capital work harder elsewhere, and they sleep fine while holding that low-interest loan. Prioritizing mathematical yield over the emotional high of zero debt preserves decades of future wealth. Then there is the gamification of money. Millions of people track their credit score like a high score in an arcade, feeling a sense of pride as it ticks up a few points. A credit score is just a metric that a bank uses to decide how much to charge you to borrow their money. Once you stop relying on debt to send your life, obsessing over this score is like studying for a test you will never take. You pay your bills on time, the number handles itself, and you stop thinking about it. The second systemic illusion arrives every spring. The IRS reports the average tax refund is around $3,300, often celebrated as a surprise bonus. In reality, it is just your own money coming back to you. The government pulled too much out of your paycheck, held it for a year, and handed it back with zero interest. The wealthy optimize their withholdings so the money stays in their own accounts all year, earning interest and working for them instead of sitting idle. Walking away from these gamified systems allows you to reclaim control. You stop letting institutions profit off your routine. Driving the reliable Toyota, holding the 3% mortgage, and ignoring the credit score all share a common thread. They represent a rejection of fear-based financial rules. The real prize of financial independence is the emotional armor to shrug and keep going when the market drops 10% in a single week. Compare that to the paradox in the book Die with Zero. A saver might live in terror of running out, underspend for 40 years, and die with millions untouched. Money without peace is hollow. Choosing math over emotion and setting down societal expectations is a choice available to anyone right now. You don't need a high net worth to start putting these anxieties down. Freedom arrives the moment the fear finally stops running the show.